Good morning. After the collapse of the French regime, following the so-called Violent Revolution, I was elected to the Bratislava City Council. From 1990 to 1995, I held the position of the deputy mayor of the town. The recently capital of the Slovak Republic was in the 16th, 17th, and 18th centuries, known by his historical name Pressburg in German language or Porto in Hungarian language, but most these names are of Slavic origin, and it was the capital of the ancient Hungarian kingdom. In 1919, the city's mayor was officially changed to Bratislava, in fact, not in Bratislava. During my time in the town hall, the present process of restitution of what originally had been private properties began. And at the same time, the process of privatization of formerly state-owned properties was underway. After the establishment of the communist government in 1948, almost all private properties in Czechoslovakia had been nationalized. The former owners had been expropriated and the property confiscated and then later run by the state. In approximately 1992, Bratislava Town Hall was contacted by a lawyer living in what is now the Czech Republic. I don't remember now the He was acting on behalf of Markus, the young assistant of Arthur Fleischmann, who lived in Hungary. The lawyer asked for the information concerning the restitution of the historical house in the center of Bratislava, this one, in the center of Bratislava, which has been owned before 1949 by the Fleischmann family. The house was located in the middle of the city and was used before 1980s as the apartment building occupied by several families. There had been no proper maintenance of for several decades since the Second World War, so the building was very poor condition. After 1980, the inhabitants were moved to other flats and the house was renovated. During this refurbishment, 13th and 14th century structures were discovered inside the building, and the archaeological excavation uncovered a small group of 16th and 17th century silver coins, which were given after 1618. The vault had been hidden possibly during the long time after 1620. On the street facade of the house, the remains of the painted decoration of 16th century mural decoration had been discovered and the painting was partially restored. These are the windows of the building. The point of the renovation was decided not to use the house for living purposes anymore. The large room on the street level became the living room of the city library for 5 meters. The upstairs rooms were used by the offices of the cultural department of the town hall, called Town Behavior in that time. There was something like National Committee. Simon Fleischmann, the father of Arthur, built this house in what was then the Continental in 1970. I beg your pardon, but the streets in the town, in the center of the town, were since 1870 to 25 or so, renamed for several times, 5 times, and so. So sometimes I said to Koreans about it is the same as the which are Fleischmannsgasse. It is always the same street, but with different name in different years. Simon Fleischmann built his house in 1717. According to 1921 publications of house owners, something like Director of Bratislava, the owner of the house, which has had its address changed to 6 Schneebers Street, Schneebersova ulica, was Simon Fleischmann. In this list, however, the same Simon Fleischmann was also recorded as another address in an apartment block at 4 Holcik Street, Harper Street. That block, built in 1910, this is the block, which property of the town of Bratislava, and the flats contained, which at the time were very high standard, were rented to wealthy tenants. There were excellent members of the Bratislava society after the World War. Simon and his family did not live there, but they had a vintage shop selling textiles, lumber retail, and the street level. Somewhere here. I cannot tell you which was his shop, but it was here in this. According to the old book, in the 1940s, when you look at the website, since Simon Fleischmann, close versions of Sculptor to Händler is imported at the address for Kalaposhnica. This is this house. In the book of Bratislava and addresses, directory published in 1922, one finds the following information. Simon Fleischmann, Kaufmann, and Merkin, address and number 12. Even after the war, the addresses were given sometimes in Hungarian and sometimes in German language. That's the file. That's the flow. There is the volume of that, and it becomes number 41 instead of number 0.6. The flat in the house at 34 was rented. It was not his house. It was situated on several steps away from this and I was told in German language Untergasse number 4. This is the photograph of and the house where they lived is this one. Here. The house was demolished later. Anton Fleischmann was born in his flat in 44 Revenue Flats in 1896. In the group of words on the Jewish community, the address on the verse of the Lord is indicated as Asha in the language, without any number. It is the only of the words in Hungarian languages which have marketplace. After 1821, the slang was replaced and renamed Landstelle in German. Anton Fleischmann house was demolished in 1975. But on the same note, another building was built later. Another building of the same which the verse also after Fleischmann. And building the development house, the development house, was the development store. And the first one, that is my which was built a little bit later. After Fleischmann appended the human cell this one. In this work, in the problem, it was failed and having completed his examination, he went to Protestant school in 1913. Almost 1/3 of the students at this university were of Jewish faith, and were divided into two groups, but Orthodox one and the other, the middle or reform community. The Hungarian people were divided into different faiths. Only most children from the front end families One classmate of Arthur Fleischmann's, who left school in the same year, in the same class, was somewhat mentioned by Arthur, who later became a letter and England pastor in the USA. And the student, Arthur Fleischmann, lived with his parents in the rented flat in the house and marketplace, which I showed already, which after the right were originally named Recollections. His parents lived later after buying the house into the Studentstrasse and in 1947 to 1975, something happened different, and the school is now renamed Vienna, which is the same name like Hungary or German, or Schneeweisgasse. I first heard the name of sculptor Arthur Fleischmann in 1961-63. In the 50s, an architect of Greek European background came to Bratislava. Before the Second World War, he and his wife were converted to the village, and they lived in the eastern part of Slovakia at present Holcik and Recollections. And during the World War, we were even in Budapest. Before the Second World War, he lived in the family and in Eastern Slovakia. In the 60s, he tried to build a similar building in Bratislava. Collecting of items of Greek architecture was exceptional, but sometimes he also took antique pieces or historical furniture from one to one family household in Bratislava. Another Bratislava old architect, Andreas Sereni, had a group of the artworks of Arthur Fleischmann in his house. This is what Mr. Sereni. Sereni had studied architecture and literature in Switzerland and creative art in the Académie Julian and in Paris. And Mr. Sereni's house was not situated in the old Jewish quarter of Bratislava as stated in the 1906 published catalog, Arthur Fleischmann, a centennial celebration, page 40. It was in the capital Sculptor Street, Chapter Street in English, one of the oldest streets in Bratislava, and which for more than 9 centuries was a center of the Catholic clergy, Catholic religion. Almost all houses in capital Sculptor Street were political residences of the Catholics, members of the chapter. Non-Jewish inhabitants were allowed to live there. Later in the 19th century, the present Jewish Street was built parallel to the Chapter Street, but behind the original medieval city fortification, outside the historical town, in fact, in the site of the ancient walls, outside the city fortification. The Fleischmann's works were brought from Vienna to Bratislava to be shown in the exhibition in 1931. That exhibition was organized by the group of many Hungarian-speaking artists in Slovakia, who established the new society with the Hungarian name Slovak Kulturelle, known as SUM Society. 24 of Fleischmann's works were exhibited and offered for sale. At the end of the exhibition, several pieces were sold, some of them purchased by the city community of Bratislava for the collection of the city museum. Unsold statues stayed stored in the private house of Mr. Sordi. This is the house of Mr. Sordi, business in England. But the house is built in a slope, and so the room behind this one is situated something like underground. This is the stored for 30 years without any buildings, without any libraries, just to go. And in fact, it was originally built as a storage for firepower and wood and so. Due to the political situation in the 30s, they remained there and never converted. Fleischmann found another built in Vienna. Mr. Solnit and Mr. Baraka in the early 60s have actually rented ceramic statues repairing this building. For this project prospective Jewish museum. Mr. Baraka accepted the offer, although he knew that amplified him in the new converts to Catholicism and was by then living in London. Some of these early ceramic sculptures by Fleischmann were in fact statues of Christian saints. In fact, all apostles were of Jewish ethnicity. And as the ceramic works were very heavy, Mr. Barkan asked me to help him to take them from his semi-house to the building on the former synagogue of Jewish Reformed or Revolt community, where there was around to store the collection in the first floor of the original. Visited by the family Fleischmann. They were Orthodox, and this is something like Protestant Jewish church, Jewish synagogue. And in the first floor here, that was the collection of Mr. Barker. The main hall of the synagogue itself was used at that time by the state television as their studio. I do not know whether Mr. Cerny informed Arthur Fleischmann about this relocation of his works. Not I do know whether Mr. Barker ever had contact with Mr. Fleischmann. I wanted very much some communication would have been dangerous for him in terms of communist times. What Mr. Barkan told me about Fleischmann was the first time I heard about the artist. Fleischmann's art was not considered as art in the 60s in the Bratislava world. In socialist society, was considered as the art of the bourgeoisie and opposite to the fashionable socialist realism. In my opinion, one of socialist impact in Bratislava history of art, the multi-colored ceramic figures on Amazons were merely stiff, as he said. This was possibly the reason why the more structures were for the city museum were never transferred into the part of the in 1955 historic city gallery of Bratislava, and lived in the collection of the city museum, which is called the Museum of Bratislava. Mr. Cerny passed away in 1968. Mr. Barkan died before him in 1967. Before he died, Mr. Barkan transferred his collection, which included the Fleischmann sculptures stored originally in the Neolog Synagogue, to the Slovak National Museum, its history department. The synagogue of the Neolog Jewish community, Congress Luton, built in 1893 to 94, was demolished in 1968. During and after the exhibition in 1931, the city of Bratislava bought for the collection of the city museum several Fleischmann works. Later, the same museum acquired 2 or 3 works more. Also, they were never exhibited prior to 2000. I shall finish. Reaching in the custody of Mr. Cerny, in his carried hubs in capitals for Alsace, several works were stored. Sessions on the chimney mantle with the subject of creation of the Old Testament, the portrait of bust of musician playing the cello, and several figures of apostles, another figure of and busts. A ceramic model of pestilence in the monument for Switzerland, I cannot tell you the locality, and the part of the import for were the motifs of the Old Testament story of Susanna and others. The most interesting item in my eyes was the artist's self-portrait in the niche, something like stone pile. This one. All of them were later transferred to the Slovak National Museum. In fact, all the figures stored in Sony House were property of the artist. They were never expropriated and they were never sold. Every day one can read news about the restitution of the works of art, even if legally acquired in the past by famous museums all over the world, which were sold by original Jewish owners before the World War II under the right value at that time. Now they are handed over to the descendants of the previous owners. Why not in the case of Fleischmann? Perhaps because they were never sold. Since 2000, the City Museum has acquired from the antique shop one wall relief of the Christ face or head within the with the Holy Water stone together with the matching candlesticks. And one drummer was on Hungarian poet Adi Endre from a private order in South America, a perspex profitable, so my colleague will speak about it. The display was also enhanced by the display was also enhanced by the items given by Fleischmann Foundation and private donors from London. The heirs of Siemens Fleischmann never applied for the restitution of their house in Bratislava. The reason for this was that Joy and Dominic Fleischmann were promised that the Fleischmann house in Biela Street, this one, would become a permanent museum of the sculptor's work. The city then opened the new museum, which formed the part of the pendants of the City Museum and continued to collaboration with the Fleischmann Foundation in London. Nobody had anticipated the abrupt change of this situation after almost 30 years of fruitful collaboration. My first idea for the Fleischmann Museum installation was to use the large space at the street level of the house, which as I explained, was at the time the reading rooms of the city library. Here, these rooms. I left the town hall in 1995. Later, it was decided to rent this empty space for a shop, and the Fleischmann exhibition was located in the first floor. These windows look out in the courtyard. But the room that was given for the Fleischmann exhibition was not large enough to throw the modern art collection. In fact, there are two historical staircases in the house, but the main one was closed for the to the visitors of the Fleischmann collection. They were forced to use the rather inconvenient stairs hidden in the corner of the courtyard. Few people realized that there was a museum in the house. There was little advertisement and therefore comparatively few visitors. 2 years ago, about 2 years ago, the museum was closed. The exhibits in the property of the town were later brought to the City Museum depository. The exhibits from the Slovak National Museum, including the property of Arthur Fleischmann's family, are somewhere in the storage room. The rooms in the upper floor of the Fleischmann house are ready to be rented to the tenant with sufficient means, and the City Museum is apparently not able to pay the rent. The spaces in the street level, most suitable for Fleischmann exhibition, are currently used by a all-grouping shop or museum of merchandise, which could be situated anywhere else. At present, several rooms upstairs are occupied by different departments of the power, as well as the Union of the Towns in Slovakia. I am very, very sad. The present generation of Bratislava inhabitants, 30 years after the Velvet Revolution, does not recognize the real works of the Fleischmann's works. They are not able to explore the rich potential of the Fleischmann collection as one of the important focal points of Bratislava's history and jewel of the cultural heritage of present-day Bratislava. The next two pictures I would like to show you are the pictures of the gravestone of Arthur Fleischmann's father, which we found in the Orthodox Jewish cemetery in Bratislava. It is existing even at present like that. Thank you.